Haman has constructed gallows on where he plans to hang Mordecai. The gallows represent a curse, but in the chronicles of the king, he is to be rewarded. So the blessings of Mordecai had the same debt with his hanging. Don't lose heart. The Egyptians you see now, you will see them no more. The levels of power between the blesser and the pursuer or the curser are different. You should have your faith in the blesser, not the curser. The lesser takes action to prove your mettle or to prove your strength. But this is a delayed match, like we have said earlier on, because you're more than a conqueror. Remember that the present pressure that you're going through is the enemy will always come like a pent-up flood, but the Spirit of the Lord will raise up a standard against him. You will remember that as Haman was in the courtyard to press for Mordecai's death, the Spirit of the Lord was raising up a standard against Haman and already promoting Mordecai. I need you to understand that sometimes you don't need to focus on who is chasing you, who is hating you, who is against you, who is fighting you. You just need to focus on Jesus Christ, the author and perfecter of your faith, because ultimately it is the King and the King only who has got the overall say over your life. Do not fret much about who is fighting you. Fret much about your relationship with God. Darkness was there before light had to eclipse and overcome it. There will always be darkness. But remember, if you are in the light, darkness will always be enveloped. God is a mighty conqueror, and for it to be proven that he is, there has to be contestation, there has to be some kind of fighting. And he allows it so that he proves himself worthy to you. So better align yourself with he whom redeems you. We do not fight against flesh and blood. We do not mind the gallows that are being built, but we trust in him who is our fortress and shelter and ever-present help in trouble. Moses and Mordecai understood that lifestyle of a person or of a believer is more powerful than prayer. This is also shown in James chapter 5 verse 17. The prayer of the righteous availeth much, because pagans also pray. So he maintained a lifestyle that was honorable. It pays to live an honorable life, Mordecai, because it will speak for you when you are under pressure. I also need you to understand that when the king stands up with you, there is no one who will stand against you. Be concerned with the king's welfare than being fretting over somebody's problems. Satan is a spirit, but he's not spiritual. For you wouldn't have killed Jesus. And we are born of the Spirit. And we should always be concerned about matters of the Spirit. Exodus chapter 17, when the Amalekites were fighting Israelites, you will understand that there were two people that were supporting Moses. And one of them was Ur. When Caleb was down there, Aaron and Ur are helping raise the arms of Moses. Only if the Amalekites had seen this, they would have realized that the issue is not with Caleb that they are looking at or fighting with. The issue is about someone whose hands are being raised up in the air, and the battle is spiritual. Sometimes we concern ourselves so much with the enemy we're fighting against or the enemy that hates us, in so much that we fail to realize that the issue is not against him. For we do not fight against flesh and blood, but the issue is spiritual. If they had known this, it would have been easier for them to just come and kill Moses. If they had killed the one whose hands was being raised to obtain the victory of the Israelites, they would have done much. Moses' rod was winning more than Joshua fighting down there. And the Amalekites would have thought skills, maybe perfect skills, was the issue. It wasn't perfect skills. It was the one who was behind the ones they were fighting against. We do not fight some battles because we can speak much, because we can defend ourselves, because we can fight much. We win some battles because we know we are fighting against principalities in high places. We are fighting against spirits, and we are spiritual to understand, to take our battle in there. I also need you to understand that the greatest power is not influenced by your skill, but by the relationship you have with the king. So you must always make sure that the relationship you have with God is smoothened. Mordecai does not fight Haman, but he continues to pressure inside in the palace. Do not fight your enemy. Do not argue against your enemy. Do not seek to have an advantage over your enemy by backbiting or anything. Seek to always have a good relationship with the king inside. Seek to always enhance the fluidity of your relationship. Put your pressure inside, because the king is the ultimate judge. It takes protocol and stages to book an appointment with kings, but the King of Kings is instantly waiting for you to speak to him. You just go on your knees, enhance your relationship. God will fight battles that you do not even see. There are keys in the house of the Lord, and your body X will tell you which keys are requested for what. Some people are in the house of God, but they're in the kitchen only. They're concerned about matters of food. Some are concerned about matters of money. Some are concerned about matters of knowledge in the library. Some are concerned with resting. Because the word of God says, come to me, those who are weary and burdened, I'll give you rest. They are concerned with bedroom issues. It depends on you which keys you will use to open which door. And for that, you need revelation. Sometimes you don't fight unnecessarily. You fight in the house through prayer. Matthew chapter 2, from verse 10, the wise men followed the star before the angel Gabriel had announced the news to many. Never be too spiritual and too blind to see or to perceive or to hear God speaking through unfamiliar people. God will use anything and everything for his glory. These people did not worship the God that was worshipped by even the prophets that were in Israel at that time. So many people believed in their God, but God did not speak to them concerning the birth of the Messiah. He chose people that were pagans because they worshipped stars. Sometimes God will speak a word to you through somebody who does not even go to church. Sometimes God will speak to you through somebody who's not even your pastor. Sometimes God will speak through you. He will speak to you through somebody who is very unfamiliar, who's unlikely, and who's uncharacteristic. I need you to understand that if you treasure relationships, you will also understand that even the person next to you might be used of God to promote you. Do you know that Moses was given his name by by the Pharaoh's daughter, which means I found him in the water. And that name was never changed by God. He fulfilled what he wanted to fulfill through Moses using that name, calling him by that name that he was given by Pharaoh's daughter. Moses was fed by Pharaoh, a Pharaoh who worshipped snakes. Sometimes you might be raised by ungodly parents. You might have friends that are ungodly. You might have bosses that are ungodly, but it is the same that will be used to preserve you until your time of manifestation, and not only to preserve you, but to provide for you. Do not underestimate the importance of relationships and of developing relationships, even with a pagan king, Ahasuerus, because he will save your whole tribe and he will do all the Jews good. Bless you.